This is the first video of a reupholstering project starting on this backrest up on the flybridge of a Sea-Ray 440 express bridge. It was supposed to be a somewhat easy job, only replacing the vinyl, but once we started taking it apart, the wood fell right out. It was all disintegrated, waterlogged, really nasty. And this is after it sat in the garage for a couple weeks too to dry out. The foam was still in decent shape, so we carefully removed it. It was glued onto the wood really good, so we had to carefully peel it off, ripping as little as possible, then got right to work on the wood framing. I traced it out as best I could on a sheet of marine grade plywood. I was a little worried about being able to find this marine plywood, but it turns out Menards has it. The sheet was just over $100, around 110. It's a 1/2 inch thick, and I was easily able to complete this whole project, all the framework for this piece out of the one sheet with a decent amount left over. You might not be able to see, this actually is going to be flush when it's done. The bottom part goes down to keep the thing steady. If you drop that off, we've got the top piece, which I cut there because I didn't want to make this go all the way straight. I want to cut that out straight. And I thought this would give it a little more structure. So we've got this top piece we're going to set aside. This, keeping the height. And then our bottom, just the whole base, the whole shape of it. So we cut all of these little slits in, taking 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5 plies out. And most of them actually a little bit of the 5th. They have to be so deep in order to let it bend. And right now we got it to a pretty bendy state. Anything less than that though, anything less than that cut, it's really difficult to bend. And at this point it gets so weak, so it's a really fine point between going too far or not far enough. So we want to get this to bend and match this curve. And it's doing a really good job right there. After testing it out on a piece of scrap, I cut the actual board down to length, and I did make it a little bit taller, thinking that I could later come back and trim it down, making it flush. It looked like it was working pretty good, so I grabbed some water-resistant exterior glue and started attaching the pieces together. At that point I did realize that I forgot a lot of my tools on the boat, so I had to improvise. I didn't mind using the jigsaw for cutting all of the holes, all the curves, because it doesn't need to be pretty. It's all going to be covered up in foam. I then took a belt sander to every corner all the way around it, just to knock off all of the corners, the edges, and add some more surface area to attach to with glue and some brad nails. And this is where I messed up. I really underestimated the second curve. So there's the curve that's horizontal right now, going from left to right, but then there's the lean that allows you to lean back on it. And since the bottom is bigger than the top piece, giving it that lean. It needed to be more of a rainbow shape. To make sure I cut it out correctly the second time, I got this flimsy piece of paneling, clamped it to it, traced it out, and the next one had the right shape. I filled each kerf with glue so that when it was bent into shape, it would compress those voids and the glue would just help bond it permanently in that position. After gluing and clamping, I used a brad nailer with stainless steel brads and nailed each one of the small slots between each cut. I trimmed off all the excess and got to work on the next side. But on this one, I already had a piece that was about the right size, so I didn't do the tracing method. I just cut it bigger than it had to be and then traced it afterwards once I had it clamped up, and then cut that curve out with the jigsaw. But before removing the clamps, I did make those tiny little marks to help me line it back up into the same exact place as it was when it was clamped up and where I traced it at to make sure that it went back together perfectly. After it was all cut out to the correct shape, I did the same thing as before on the other side, putting glue in each of the kerfs and clamping it, tacking it down with the stainless steel brad nails. And I did use some blue tape to keep the glue from oozing out of those kerfs, the cuts. And I didn't show beforehand, but the inside of all the wood needed to be sealed. I was using Thompsons water sealer. It goes on clear, it dries pretty quickly, and since I'm not painting over it, I didn't really need anything special. I'm not sure if this is the best stuff to use or not, but hopefully it'll work for me. And it is marine grade plywood, but I think it still needs to be protected as good as possible because it will be on the fly bridge outside and get wet. The last two pieces are just simple straight boards covering the rest of it, glued, nailed, the same as the rest was. And here you're looking at the bottom of the piece. You can see all the holes I put in it. Those are for drainage. And the last step to the whole project is waterproofing the entire outside, making sure everything is well covered. And it's done. There's the frame. Next step will be foam and vinyl. I'll be doing two colors, white and a gray. And I don't have very much experience in sewing, so the next video should be interesting. Once this backrest is done, I'll be moving on to the seat that goes under it, and then the long bench that's also up on the flybridge behind the helm. So here's another look at what we started with, needing to replace the frame, thinking that it was just going to be an upholstery project, but ended up being a lot more. Now we'll see how the vinyl work goes. Thanks for watching.